So you didn't get intoxicated with this image of having to be a party girl or anything like that, or
I mean, I definitely went out.
yeah,
I
right.
definitely went out, but I don't think it really consumed me. I really don't. Because I think the more you're on that scene, like I worked at some clubs, bartended.
That was gonna be my next question, but go ahead. Yeah,
Yes. Oh, okay.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess when you work there and you see the ins and outs, you don't really have a desire to be a part of like the in crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because you like half of them ain't really in anyway. They pretending to be in, if that makes sense.
Right, we're gonna get into that
I'm
for
jumping
sure.
ahead. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no, no, no. You're right on time. We definitely gonna get into
Okay.
that. So you're a young woman. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously, unless you're a holy roller and pretending,
Yeah.
living a duplicitous life. So what made you? Because I know I'm from a small town in South Carolina, and a lot of the girls that I went to high school with, they move here just like a lot of other small towns. They move here and thinking that they're going to be the next big thing, and a lot of times they will either work at a strip club or be a bottle girl or something like that. What was your motivation? Were you a bottle girl? Were you a bartender? What were you doing?
So a little bit of everything.
Please continue. Yeah, go ahead. This is good.
I danced. I have waitress. I've done the bottle
When you
girl
say
thing,
dance,
strip club.
say less. Continue.
I think at the time we were just doing so bad when we moved here first.
Mm,
It
we.
was me and my mom.
So she moved with you?
Yeah, remember I was in high school when I moved here.
Yeah, but I mean to Atlanta.
Well, no, not to
Okay, got you.
Atlanta,
Okay,
but she was still here.
got you.
So I just think it was one of those things we were doing so bad. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Mm,
Just kind of got introduced to it by, again, going out. So yeah, I just kind of tried it out, danced for a couple years. And yeah, just being in that environment, you just see a lot. You see a whole
right.
lot. And it just never made me want to be a part of, I just never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to do any of that. Yeah.
Wow. Because obviously, a lot of times that's so your motivation was just trying something different,
Trying something
or it
different,
wasn't fast cash, or
trying to make some fast money.
yeah,
I went to school for finance at the time. You know what I mean?
right,
Going
got
to
it.
school. But I never really quite fit in when I was in the club. I never really did.
What do you mean?
I was always getting suspended. I'll be honest.
When you say suspended, for the folks who may be squares out
Okay.
there,
Okay.
what does that mean? That you won't do something that they're telling you to do?
So if you get into like a fight or an altercation,
Okay, Ronnie.
you
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you
Because you're
get
putting me up on stuff. Go ahead.
if you
Yeah.
get into a fight or an altercation, or like let's say even so, like well, I don't know if you do know, the women pay to come to work.
For sure.
So you
Yes.
pay what's called bar fee to
Right.
work. But let's say the club has rules like we want you to work at least one slow night a week and don't work it. They can fine you for not working that slow night. And if you don't want to pay the fine, well, then you can't come back to work till you pay it. Things like that. Or like we have to tip out the DJs.
Right.
And you're expected to tip, where I was at, $20 was the minimum or 10% of what you've made. But 20 is the absolute minimum. And people think that they don't track what you're making, but they can. Because like, let's say you come in and get 1,000 ones and I've been dancing for you all night. I can't come to the DJ and give him a $20 bill. Security has written down that they saw me dancing for a guy who got 1,000 ones who didn't tip the stage. So I can't try to be slick and lowball him. You see what I'm saying? So even if you tip too little, they can suspend you or fine you for that too.
Wow. You put yeah. I've this is news and it's probably people like Jared. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. I did not know that. I was talking to a girl who used to be a bottle girl, and she said that the owner or the manager would try to force her to be more interactive or get up in guys' faces or be more sexual or do things, not specifically sexual things, but just be more in the patron's face, for
Yes.
lack of a better term. So that's why I thought you meant by that, by being
Oh,
suspended.
no.
Yeah.
I would just be getting into it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Some fights too?
Yeah.
Man, sheesh. So what's the? And I'm not gonna stay on this too long because I know
okay.
this is just a small part of growth.
Yeah.
And where you're at now as an entrepreneur, self-employed, who basically this is one chapter of your journey. What are you fighting over? Like what?
It could be
Like what are
some-
the fights about? Yeah.
It's usually money, pretty much, or it'll be something like, again, let's say you're coming in and you're kind of dating or messing with one of the dancers,
Right.
but you ask me to come over there and dance, she's going to feel some type of way because now it's like, that's my customer and you don't have no business dancing for him. And then it's a whole issue. And that's 9 times out of 10 what it was. And my mentality was always, I hate to say this, but you're damned if you do and damned if you don't with the customers.
Right.
If you sleep with them, they're going to stop dancing
Yep.
you. And if you don't sleep with them, they're going to stop dancing you. So you might as well just keep your body to yourself.
Right.
Honestly, and keep your dignity. But a lot of girls, unfortunately, don't. Whether they're genuinely interested in the person
Right.
or they're doing extra stuff for money on the side, whatever it is. So yeah, it would lead to a lot of problems. And then I didn't drink at work. That's the other thing. I didn't drink at work. I'm not into drugs. So being in an environment like that sober is hard. It's hard. So that's why I say, like, I just didn't really fit in. And it came down to one altercation in particular where I was like, I probably don't need to come back to work. And I never did. I just, one night was like, this is it for me.
And this was after 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think, and I know I keep saying this because this is interesting, and I know people want to know because obviously that's one of the main reasons I think a lot of women do move here is to get in that nightlife and or be an influencer or stripper or bar girl or just somebody who has connections. Is it really what you see on social media about the amount of money that you're making? Because you hear women will say, I make $2,000 a night or 4,000 or 5,000, or I'm taking home 15,000. And a lot of these girls are like, I look just as good as her. I can do just as good as her. Whatever like that. Is that an accurate thing, or is that just like a one-off?
I don't think it's as common as people think it is. I think now times might be different because, like you said, now Instagram is big. So
Right.
if you're a dancer and you build up a really big
For sure.
following, okay, that's different, but back then there was no, we weren't on Instagram. And then when I started, it's like that big Meech era had just ended.
Yes.
So like people weren't coming in ordering 10 and 20 and 30 and 50,000 ones like they used to, because that's how the feds catch you. I mean, let's be honest. People weren't into that super flashy. I'm not saying no one was. It just wasn't as common as it was. So I don't think it's all that it's cracked up to be. Plus, I don't think people realize all the money that goes into working. Like you could pay $200 up front to work. You might have to tip out the DJ $200, $300, $400. You're tipping out your house mom. You're tipping out security. You're tipping valet. Like it's a lot of, and then don't be a dancer that drinks, which most do.
Wow.
Now you have tabs at the end of the night every night. It's a big overhead.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
So even if you cleared $2,000, that's not what you took home.
Got you.
A third of that probably went back to the club.
Got it.
You know?
So after that one fateful night, as you said, what was the plan from there? Did you already have a plan, or?
I didn't, to be honest with you. I just knew like I had it. So
Right.
But then one of my really good friends, we stopped dancing around the same time.
Okay.
She went to cosmetology school, and I watched her journey. And I always did makeup. Like I was always really good at makeup
Gotcha.
and stuff like that. But she went for hair, and I saw just how happy she was. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to